If you could summarize your opinion towards women?
Like what I think of them?
Yes.
Jeez, this is so awkward. And why is it awkward? Because of the over questioning of pretty much the people who are doing questions. Of course, opinion is what you think. What else would an opinion be? I mean, opinion is not derived or just exclusively derived from facts. So of course it's going to be opinion, your opinion, my man.
I do think they are very important, but
some topics are hard to approach.
More and more male hatred against women is rising up.
You might call this a new phenomenon.
Either the subjects are inaccessible or people are uncomfortable discussing them.
If you're an ugly guy, you better get a good job and make some money, because nobody's gonna want to talk to you.
Girls, I will destroy you.
You don't deserve to get laid at all! Beta supremacy group, not male supremacy group. No well-adjusted males would go out their way to try to kill a bunch of blonde women, which Elliot Rodgers didn't even fulfill his manifest because all he did was kill mostly males, Asian at that, and he was half Asian himself. So it's kind of a little bit strange, beta tendencies mixed with a little bit of mental illness, but don't blame that on men.
So we found those subjects in person, rented a space in Hollywood, and invited our audience and any strangers walking by to come inside and ask them anything.
Ask them anything. To my acknowledgement, there's only one guy. I mean, did they have other incels other than this one guy? I mean, seems a little strange phrasing to me. I mean, unless he's trans, then, them, they, maybe makes sense. But other than that, no.
okay. Hey, I'm Brendio. I also go by Derek. I'm an incel, and I'm here to answer people's questions about the topic.
This guy seems much like a corporate incel or a mainstream incel that we can feed to the public. He doesn't seem fat, chubby, have a recurring hairline, or doesn't seem to have bulgy glasses. Not to say that you need to be all this to be incel, but it would make more sense and would speak to the larger demographic if he did,
I can start. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
So you're an incel?
Yes.
Why would you ever sign up to do this?
I suppose I would want to give more of a positive light on this community, which is a very negative light upon it.
Am I the only one who think that the guy on the left look way more incel than the guy on the right? He looks like an incel that got into a biker club so he can get laid with sluts, while the other guy looks like a rock star trapped in the 1970s. Both look off-putting, but both seem like incels to me.
Okay, and do you think that's a good thing?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because a lot of the boys in this community aren't bad people.
But you acknowledge that a good handful of them are, right?
Seems a little bit of a strange thing to ask. Hey, why are you doing this interview? Because I want to bring a positive light to the community. And you think that's a good thing? To bring a positive life? Sure, that's why I'm doing this. I mean, seems like remedial English questions. Who the hell? They definitely did pick people from a random people from across the street, but probably from a remedial school or some type of special needs program.
Not a good handful, I would say a small handful.
Who hurt you, or what happened? What event sort of catalyzed this way of thinking and you getting into this kind of research?
Gosh, she's glad I'm not on that stage, because I would say something like, who hurt me? Well, all the women who murdered their children inside and outside the womb. Billions of babies have been killed, and you had to be the one that survived?
Society?
Do you hate women?
No.
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 Do you have a female role model in your life?
A female role model?
Yeah, like a mom or an aunt or a friend?
I mean, I love my mom. I wouldn't necessarily consider her a role model, but I do love her quite a bit.
Wow, she really fell into that trap pretty easily. I mean, she's saying in the back of my head, I knew he lived in his mother's basement. I cannot do her accent wherever her ancestry is from. But yeah, he just fell into the whole trope of living in his mother's basement line. Like, come on, man.
If a woman was elected as president of the United States, how would you react?
I don't know. It probably would depend on the woman. I probably wouldn't be supportive of it, honestly. But
why do you say that, if you don't mind me asking?
I do think that men should be the leaders and women should be the caregivers and the loving, supporting, and the teachers in some cases.
Wow, this corporate incel is just reading off sexist male cliches. I mean, he could have maybe. I mean, I really okay with him being truthful, but that whole men should do pottery while women working outside of the kitchen, it really bothers me. Little trope thing could have been like pulled off much more graciously, since he's like a corporate incel. He could have said something like, let me hear about the female policies, or let me hear about what's her background or what she believes. Just because somebody's a female doesn't mean that I have to be proud that they're elected. Something like that. Something to make him sound much more educated than, I want women to go back to the kitchen. I mean, come on, man. Just pull it off. Try to pull it off, man.
Since women of color, or just women in general, have been oppressed by certain systems and other oppressed communities, especially LGBTQ+, all those don't really fit with the spectrum that incels or you have been talking about. So why do you think your method of thought would help fix what we have today?
I don't think incels have any more like deeper depth than women are not going salami on my salami, so I'm mad. But let's see what his response is. And she needed to rephrase or ask that question again, because she lumped like 3 totally different groups together. But whatever.
I probably wouldn't view the things that you might view as oppression as oppression. I have a feeling. I would view it more as how we treat children that we love. We control them, but we control them lovingly, not as a slave, not as we're forcing them to do things against their will. I would view it more as a loving domestic thing in the past. And I would say that if we were to do it in a civilized way, maybe in a more, even a Christian way, even though I'm not really advocating for a certain religion or ideology, I would assume that women would probably be happier. And I wouldn't just assume that blindly, I would assume that based on the data that I have seen.
What data have you seen that has brought you to this conclusion? Because I'm now curious where I can get this data from.
I couldn't reference it offhand, but I believe there was a study that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Okay.
Well, I have to give the devil its due. I mean, she came in here looking like the smartest person in the room, and she proved it. But then again, she is a Asian chick. I was just kidding, but overall, this guy did absolutely horrible. Men, if you have anything to claim like data and you don't support it, it will look like you just have mystery facts. Like, don't say, oh, I seen paperwork and data and yada, 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 especially when you're in a room empty and you can't really pull up your phone like that to show a person, because they're not even like face to face, so it's not like he can show the data. But yeah, he did absolutely terrible. And it seemed that since the question was very open-ended, he could have pissed off like 3 different groups: gays, LGBTQIAs, minorities, women, like 3 different groups as a whole. And he compared them to children. Not cool, man. Not cool. But I would have been like, rephrase your question, because it's too open-ended.
What do you think it is about liberal areas that create behavior in women that you think is a problem?
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects, such as looks. And that typically makes it harder for some people to find a relationship, including sometimes good-looking people. Like, there's guys who are much better looking than I am who are having a really hard time finding someone in a place like LA or in London or in Auckland, New Zealand, but they probably would have a perfectly fine time finding a woman somewhere else.
So you think that promiscuity is the problem, and if people were more monogamous and more withholding, that would sort of fix society?
Yeah, I suppose if people were more traditionalists.
Oh, God, he did it. I mean, come on. You could have brought up anything. You could have brought up divorce rate. You could have brought up about child support, sodomization of men. You could have brought up the overwhelming bias that the family court has towards women. You could have brought up the false rape epidemic that happens when women want to get a leg up on custody of their children and accusing their fathers of rape. I mean, anything that's much more pressing than women not pressing on your dick. It makes the whole community look vain and just absolutely like self-centered and just spoiled little brats. I mean, come on, man. Absolutely. You could have seen it in the bitch face. She was like, what? Like, come on.
There have been a few mass shootings in the past where these shooters actually stated that they were incels or were radicalized by online incels. What do you think about their actions?
I condemn their actions. I don't believe violence is the solution. I don't believe attacking random people is going to fix anything, whether they're, women or men. I do think that the reason why they committed those actions was probably because of out of desperation or out of, mental problems that probably could have been prevented had the right support was in their community, in their household. If people saw what they were posting and saw what they were experiencing in life and did something to help them.
To my knowledge, there was only one incel shooter, and that's the guy who in Toronto did like the van. He wasn't even a shooter. He hit people with a van. And Elliot Rodgers is not officially an incel shooter since he never called himself an incel. So I would have asked, who are these supposed incel shooters if Elliot Rodgers wasn't officially an incel because he didn't call himself that? And the guy who attacked people with a van didn't have a gun. He had a van. Like, come on, man. Are you kidding me?
One of the common criticisms about the incel community is that you feel entitled to sex or intimacy. Do you believe that you deserve sex or intimacy from a woman?
I think everybody at some level deserves someone that loves them and, respects them, as long as you are also loving and respectful towards that person. They're an equal, you're not like seeking someone beyond yourself. You don't have like too high standards, I suppose.
It's okay in my mind to think you deserve love. The only problem I have is when people try to force love to happen to them by illegal ways, as in stalking somebody, harassing somebody, keep on texting them, just these things. Like, that's horrible to me. But other than that, I have no problem with people thinking that they deserve love. That's pretty sweet.
You don't want to be an incel?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, it's part of the whole involuntarily thing. I mean, you want to try and escape it. You want to be something better. You want to get a wife, get a girlfriend, get someone who loves you, spend your life with them, and be happy. And
Miss, you have the choice to make sure he's not an incel by giving him some head. I mean, come on, there's a lot of Asian chicks who go out with a lot of goofy white guys. I'm just kidding, but maybe she didn't know what the term incel means, as an involuntary celibate. So, so it's not really a choice in if a person wants to be incel or not. I mean, come on.
I won't lie, this went a lot differently than I thought it would. I thought we'd be yelling at each other,
It was nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much. Hello, thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment as well. I already said that. Cut that part out.
And at the end of the day, this website used the YouTube AdSense to get this guy a hooker who lived with him for at least 9 months in pure happiness What? The website is called Jezebel. I'm just kidding. YouTube doesn't even give AdSense anymore. But yeah, this was a pretty interesting, tame, kind of paint dry video. But yeah, please leave a like, subscribe, and share this video. And I'm out, guys.